Okay, grade 8, this is your surface area June review in practice for your exam, which will take place a week from this next coming Monday. A week from next Monday. Okay, so your first question says a triangular prism has the same number of faces as a rectangular prism. And the answer to this question is false. Because if you make the net of a triangular prism, you realize that it has 5 faces. And if you do the net of a rectangular prism, it has 6 faces. So the answer is false. They have different numbers of faces. Question 2. The net of a cylinder will show 2 circles and a rectangle, and therefore a formula can be used to find the surface area would be 2 pi r squareds and a pi dh. This is a true statement because a circle is pi r squared, so the coefficient of 2 simply means there are 2 circles. Pi d is really the circumference of this circle. So this length here is circumference. This is height, so instead of length times width, pi d times h is a suitable formula for that rectangle. Question 3, a cube with a side length of 8 centimeters. So if I draw my cube, whoever's tapping, please stop. A cube with 8 centimeters would be all 8 centimeters. Has more surface area than a rectangular prism, which I'll draw over here, of 5, 8, and 12. Well, the first thing we know is that one face of this particular one has a surface area of 64 centimeters squared. And there are 6 of them, so therefore 6 times 64 is 384 centimeters squared of surface area. Or, if I wanted to use a formula, it would be 6s squared, because one face is s squared and there's 6 of them. In the next one, we have 2 rectangles that make up the front and back. We have 2 rectangles that make the left and right. And we have 2 rectangles that make up the top and bottom. The front and back are both dimensions of 12 by 5, which is 2 times 60, which is 120 centimeters squared for the front and back. The left and right are 5 by 8, which are 2 8 by 5s, which are 2 40s, which is 80 centimeters squared for that. And finally, the top and bottom, this is 8 and this is 12. Those are 96 each, so that's 2 that are 12 by 8, which are 2 96s, which is 192. When you add that all together, you get, let's see, you get 200 here, 392 centimeters squared. So therefore, your rectangular prism has more surface area, which makes this a false statement. Question 4. A right triangle with sides of 3, 4, and 5. Now, it doesn't tell you what are legs and what is the hypotenuse, but we all know that the longest side of a right triangle is the hypotenuse, which means 5 has to be there. And it doesn't matter if you draw it this way or this way. When you calculate the area of this, it's going to be base times height divided by 2, which means it's 3 times 4 divided by 2, which means the area of that triangle will be 6 meters squared. Now, does this have more area than a circle with a diameter of 3? It doesn't say estimate. So if the diameter is 3, then the radius is 1.5. Pi r squared will be 3.14 multiplied by 1.5 squared. When I take 1.5 squared and then multiply it by pi, I get 7.065, which means the circle has more surface area than the right triangle, which means the answer again is false. And question 5, what is the surface area of this right triangle? So I gave you a net, I gave you the dimensions. Now the tricky part is, what I would do is I would have drawn this net as a 3-dimensional object. This will be 40. I think. Is that right? No, yeah, it will be. That's 40. This would be 18, and this here would be 10. Is that right? I think so. No, I got that backwards. This should be 10, and this should be 18. So when I look at this, this is 40 by 10, which is 400. And if that's the bottom, the top is also 400. When I look at the back, this measurement here would be the same measurement as here, and this measurement here would be the same measurement as here, which means that back is 40 by 18, 40 by 18 right here, which is 800 less 40, 720, which makes this 720. And finally, this one here, since this was 10, and this is 18, this will be 180, and this will be 180. So when I add that up, 700, 800, 900, 180 plus 720 is 900, so there's another 900. That's 1,800. 1,800 plus another 800 is 2,600 centimeters squared of area. Is that right? Okay, good. Question 6, what is the surface area of the cylinder? Our formula for surface area is 2 circles plus that pi dh. It doesn't say approximate, so we're going to use, I suppose it doesn't matter. How many of you use 3? How many use 3.14? Nobody used 3.14, so we'll use 3. Let's use 3. Some of you might have used 3.14, but whatever. The radius of this circle is 2.8. The diameter, if it's 2.8, the diameter would be double that, which is 5.6. And the height of that cylinder is 4.8. A little bit of calculations going on here with your calculator. Bring this over here. So 2 times 3 times, what is 2.8 squared? Equals, so this would be 47.04 when you work it all out, the 2 circles. And this would be 3 times 5.6 times 4.8, which is going to be 80.64. Add that to the area of the 2 circles. And you have a final answer of 127.68. Did I make a mistake? Yes, because you have to round it to the nearest decimal place. So your answer would be 127.7 if you rounded it perfectly. Now, if the person forgot to round it, take a half point off. So if the person didn't follow instructions and had 127.68, just take a half point off for not following instructions. Question 7, what's the surface area of this cube? There are 6 faces, and each face is side squared. So it's 6 faces that are 10 squared each, or 6 faces that have 100 meters squared each, or 600 meters squared being the total surface area for question 7. Question 8, what's the surface area of this? We have 2 top and bottoms. I'm just going to put TB here. The top and bottom are both 20 by 5, which means they're 100. And we have 2 left and right, which are 7 by 5, which will be 2 35s each. And we have 2 front and back, which are 20 by 7s, which are front and back, which are 140 each. When I add all this together, I get 200 plus 70 plus 280. That's 200, 400, 550 meters squared of surface area. Did that make a mistake? Oh, no, I think you were, 7 was 600 meters squared. You were asleep. Question 9. Now remember, when I do surface area of a right triangular prism, okay, I have 5 faces. This face here, if I was to draw it in isolation, that bottom triangle, this is 5, this is 4, and this is 3. It's actually a Pythagorean triple. And the area of that one face is 4 times 3 divided by 2. So the area of that one face is 6 square meters. 3 times 4 divided by 2. So I have two triangles, which would be two sixes. The two triangle faces altogether would be 12. Now, this dimension here, right here, is that length of the thing. So I'm going to have a rectangle that is 4 by 5. I'm going to have a rectangle that is 3 by 5. And I'm going to have a rectangle that is 5 by 5. That's going to be 20. That's going to be 15. That's going to be 25. All of those added together will be the total surface area. That's 40. That's 60. That's 70. 72 square meters is your surface area for that triangular prism. $72. Question 10. A man wants to paint the inside of his windowless room. The room is 10 by 5 by 3. So if I drew it, quiet on the set, we are filming. This is his windowless room with his door. Okay? So if I was to draw the net of that room, the net would look something like this. Okay? So this 10 by 5, we'll make this 10, we'll make this 5, and we'll make this 3. So the left and the right would be 15 each. 15 and 15. The bottom would be 50 and the ceiling would be 50. And the front wall would be 30 and the left wall, or whatever you want to do. So we'd have 50, 50, 30, 30, and 15, 15 for the surface area of all the walls together. Add that up, it would be 190, I think. So the total surface area of that room, if it didn't have a door, would be 190 meters squared of his windowless. Oh, he's not going to paint the ceiling, is he? He's not going to paint the floor. So I got to take away 50 meters squared because he's not painting that floor, which means he's going to paint 140 meters squared less the door, which is 2 meters squared, which means the total paintable surface area he's going to do is 138 meters squared. So to put this a different way, that's not going to be painted because that's the floor. So 50 is going to be the floor, right? So the 50 plus 30 plus 30 plus 30 is still 140, less the door, still makes it 138 meters squared of paintable surface area. Question 11. If paint costs $34.50 and each can will cover 35 square meters, how much will it cost to paint the room? So there's 138 square meters of paintable surface. If I take that surface area and divide it by how much one can will do, that will tell me I need to buy 3.94 cans. Since I can't buy a fraction of a can, I will buy 4 cans. If each can costs $34.50, the total cost for the paint will be $138. That's weird. Is that right? Is that the same as... Huh? Well, I didn't mean for that to happen. Interesting. And your last one is your match for your definitions. Pretty easy. Everybody should have got this one right. So 6s squared is the surface area of a cube. Triangular prism is 2 base times height divided by 2 plus 3 rectangles. Cylinder will be your 2 pi r squared plus the pi dh. And finally, the surface area of a rectangular prism is that.